Hello, my friends, and welcome to Italy, a Place to Love YouTube channel. Italy, a place to love, and Italy, a place to know. So, on this channel, where I try to cover as many topics as possible about relocating to Italy. Alright, so today I want to talk about a post that I found on Facebook in this group that I follow called Expats Living in Italy. According to me, a very interesting post. And then I will read most of the comments. There are 81 comments under this post, but it's nice, it's important to share anyway this message to understand also what are the feedbacks from people who relocate to Italy. Alright, let's start reading the post. Looking for positive motivational stories. Those who have moved and do not regret it about moving to Italy. I'm reading lots of negative posts that are leaving me a bit, without a proper understanding. Now, three parts in this message. First, she's looking for motivational stories, which she get a grasp, to follow something, to follow positive feedback. And then who doesn't regret about have moved to Italy. And then the fact that she's reading on the social medias a lot of negative posts. And actually that's what I'm also reading. Most of the comments that I'm reading are kind of negative. But so now let's focus on the comments below the post, and then we'll discuss together about people decisions and so on. Now, I love living here. The first comment that I'm reading is saying someone said, I love living here in Italy. No regrets, but I had legitimate reason for moving here. I needed to live closer to my only daughter who lives in London. Okay, so she had her own reason, she's probably from the States, and to get closer to her daughter, maybe she didn't want to live in the UK, and so she decided to live in Italy. But anyway, between Italy and UK is 1.5 hour flight, so she's still closer than from United States to UK. And that's where I live in the south of Puglia. I live in the south of Italy, in Apulia region, and have been very content with my decision to move to Italy. So here we have the first story of someone that has no regrets about moving to Italy. Now, let's read the following comment. The people who are out living the La Dolce Vita are not on social media talking about life or the things they hate. Actually, I have to agree with this. Now, on social media, why we find more negative stories? Because we share our stories generally when things are not good. If things are well, why should I go on the social media and say, oh, listen, my life is fantastic? And generally on the social medias, we tend to find more negative stories than feedback, than positive. So you will get a skewed concentration of negative experiences here. Plus, in general, most people hate every minor inconvenience, so they gripe about it. True. Anyway, as soon as someone has an inconvenience, is there sharing, oh, this is disgusting, that's not working, and so on. I think things are like this generally everywhere. I've been around the world and back. Italy is still my favorite place in the world. So I take this as another very good positive feedback. Then, you should not rely on people's experience, good or bad. You have to see if the move makes sense in your life. That's very important. I mean, yes, I can take some people experience just as a motivation, but no more than that, because then you have to see if the move makes sense in your life. You know your situation and your life better than anyone else. But one advice I could give to anyone moving anywhere is to leave all expectations at home and go with the flow. And I totally agree. Anyway, we all have expectations before we are moving to one place, But then the reality is another one. So face more the reality than the expectations. Try it for a few months or years, and the worst that could happen would be a return home. Then there is another comment who replied to this, which I kind of disagree. Now, who replies to this comment? And then I'm gonna read now this to explain you why I'm reading the reply. That's a very simplified view of the situation. Just try it for a few months or years, and if it doesn't work out, move back. I mean, that will really not work for many people. I understand this reply, but what I understand most from the comment is that it's very important to have also a plan B in case things are not going well. I mean, that's absolutely a must. If I'm taking a big step of moving into one place or to relocate to another place, I cannot just put all my cards there and say, okay, and then if things are not going well, if things are not going as I was expecting, I have to have a plan B. And the plan B has the chance that you have to go back, for example, to the place where you were from and simply say, I failed, I wanted, things didn't go, but then you have to keep the window open to go back. Because then what you're gonna do? You're gonna find yourself totally desperate. I mean, it's I would never recommend to anyone to relocate if there's not a plan B. Absolutely. Because then if things are not going well, life can turn into a real disaster. Now, read other stories. Your algorithm is probably giving you the same bad stories because you spend time reading it. So you need to reset your algorithm. When a bad story comes, swipe it away as soon as you can. And if a good story comes, take your time and like it and comment. Now, this message is a bit, what does he mean, this guy? Change your algorithm. Now, if you focus always on the bad stories, obviously the algorithm will keep showing you bad stories. Then, if you scroll down the bad stories, bad, and I scroll, and then I find an interesting story, a positive story, then stop there, read it, and you will see that the algorithm will start changing, and that's actually true. Anyway, that's the way the algorithm is working. So if you want to find more positive stories, focus on the positive stories, read positive articles, and you will see that your algorithm will change, not straight away, but in a bit of time it's gonna change. I've been living here for most of my life now. Moved in my 20s and now I'm in my 60s. So 40 years that this person is living in Italy. Let me say this one thing. Much of your happiness, satisfaction will be involved with your financial situation, which I totally agree. I mean, relocating is a very important step, and I will never stop repeating this. Then, obviously, you need to be backed by a good financial situation, not only to have plan B in case you decide, for example, things are not going well, as I said before, but also if you're not struggling financially, you can always sort the things because you are backed by something, maybe by a passive income, maybe by a good pension, maybe you are a digital nomad. There are so many different type of experiences, but be backed by some money, because if there's no money behind, again, things cannot be easy. Obviously, even if I'm now planning to move somewhere else, to relocate somewhere else, I have to be backed financially. I have to be able maybe to buy a. If I'm not able to back my financial situation, better I don't do it. Then another thing that I want to say personally, the relocation step, it always takes time. Always takes a lot of time. It can take, consider 5 years, in between 3 and 5 years. So if I want to relocate now, if now I take the decision that I want to relocate, between now and my relocation has to pass in between 3 and 5 years, simply to start organizing things properly. And if I'm not backed financially to that situation, start working on that direction. Maybe it might not take 3, 5, it might take 7, but if you really want, anyway, you have to work on that situation. If I'm not backed financially, I have to say that first of all, I have to work for to myself, like I have to sort myself financially. Now, another one, it really depends on how you feel, not others. I bought my place in a very small village in 2013 after getting dual citizenship. I would come back as often as I could and hated to leave. Now, I stop reading here because if you already have a dual citizenship, like you have an Italian passport, obviously things are much easier than someone who doesn't. So we cannot put on the same level. So all the people who have dual citizenship, I'd say okay, they have less steps to take for a relocating process, for a relocation process, obviously because you don't have to handle all the issues with the working permit, with the visa. All right, then we love it here. There are some frustrations, of course, but frustrations are everywhere, doesn't matter where you go. However, the quality of life for us outweighs the frustration. Again, this is a nice comment because if the frustration is higher than your quality of life, obviously things are not gonna work. But if you are happy with your quality of life, all the frustrations that will come, you're gonna sort in a way or in another. Again, always it depends the way you have backed your experience. The more you are financially, you thought once, twice, 3 times, all the steps before taking such a big step, then even the frustrations might go like, okay, I'll take it easy. I will solve these problems. As the bureaucracy is not working well in Italy, and I will make other videos about the bureaucracy. I have to say one very important thing, that it's true that bureaucracy is not working well at all, but at the other side of the coin is that things, even if the bureaucracy is not working well, are never strict. Never. You can always fix everything, in a way or in another, much easier than many other places. If I move to another country where things are working perfectly, and then I miss something or I make a big mistake, I might find very hard then to fix that mistake. While in Italy, for example, yes, it's true, bureaucracy is a mess. I have to state this, but at the same time, if things are failing, you will always find a way to fix it, 100%. If you are not demotivated, if you don't panic, believe me, in a way or in another, you knock another door, you pay someone, you pay a service, in a way or in another, you're always gonna fix the things. It also happened to me to pay for a service simply because I didn't want to bang my head against the wall and I just wanted to sort the things. Okay, how much is going to cost me this service? That's why it's important also to be backed financially. And again, we always go back to the same steps. And this is what my channel is for. Anyway, simply to open people's mind to consider everything. Because again, life in Italy can be beautiful, but life in Italy can also be a nightmare, as thousands of posts and comments that I read on the socials are, let's say that 90% of the comments are negative, 90%. Only a 10% are positive. And then again, who has a positive story is not going on the social to share, because the socials are working to share negative experience most. Who has positive stories, positive experiences is not wasting time on the socials to say, oh, my life is fantastic, my life is beautiful here. It's not working like that. So expect the social to find always negative trend, negative experiences. But then try to understand, if I'm reading negative experiences, then I can understand where that person failed. That might help me to not fail on the same things the same thing that that person failed. So I'm not saying don't read at all the negative, because the negative might open your eyes to understand which mistake you don't have to make. Now, best decision I ever made. Moving to Italy brought me, my husband and kids a wonderful business and beautiful adventure. I love the kindness of people in our tiny town and being close to Rome. I do miss my family. Anyway, they are living a beautiful experience, a beautiful adventure. So, for her, for this person, I'm glad that now there was this post, because this post at least pushed a bit the people with positive stories to just express themselves. And that's why I'm making this video, simply because I want to report, simply because, as I said already, the majority of the stories are negative. Why not to have something positive? Now, I think the negative experiences come from people who didn't get much choice in coming, or people who came with far too much fantasies. I have to agree. People have to be realistic, but it's not easy also to consider everything. Let me give a point to the people who are having negative experiences, because you cannot really consider everything. We might be perfect, but perfection doesn't exist. But then, if I'm failing in something, when I'm in place after relocating, then I have to be able to solve that problem. If I'm not, that's so it's about the attitude as well. But this attitude is not working only for people who are moving to Italy. It's about people who are moving everywhere. I read many comments under my videos, for example, of people sharing the experiences in other countries, and they were not happy. A lot of stories of people who moved to Thailand, to Philippines, or to other countries where at the end they were not satisfied with their experience. So the relocation process again might bring a lot of people where they see that their fantasy, what they fantasize, what they sorry, fantasize, the picture they created wasn't matching with the reality. And when the picture is not matching the reality, that's a huge problem. And then if you don't have a plan C, then is another bigger problem. I have moved and lived to 4 different countries for a number of years at a time: UK, Switzerland, Turkey, and Italy. I had fantastic experiences in the first three. Italy just hasn't been great. But that's just me. Anyway, here again we have a negative comment, okay? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's a bit like life, really. So, anyway, she's saying Italy didn't work for her, but the other countries where she spent time, like UK, Switzerland, Turkey, worked for her. So, you I wish that person to enjoy her life wherever she decided to relocate. And follow happy people like this? No, okay. We moved to Dolomites permanently from UK in 2019 after buying house for holidays in 2014. Lots of bureaucracy to navigate, but life is so much better. I'd say go for it with a plan B. What's the worst that can happen? Again, I really like this comment because first of all, okay, this family moved in 2019. This family bought a house in 2014. So before they decided to take this big step, it took them 5 years, which for me, that I'm processing things kind of because I don't want to find big trouble, mistakes. I start from one point and then I just see how the things are going. Then, okay, I bought a property somewhere, I don't like it, oh gosh, I lost money. Life is like this. If you are investing, Not always, I mean, to buy a property is a success. I mean, it's not written anywhere. Oh, I buy a property, I'm gonna love that place, I'm gonna double, I'm gonna triple. I mean, anywhere it can happen to make mistakes. So they gave themselves time. In the worst scenario, you use it as a holiday home. Oh no, as a holiday home is a waste of money. I mean, people are free to do whatever they want. If they like it, just as a holiday home, then they might decide to rent it out. Taxation. Okay, a lot of people are complaining about taxation. Again, if I'm backed financially, I should also be able to pay the taxes. I mean, taxes are not something that are gonna make you bankrupt because you are taxed on the base of your income. I mean, you're not gonna be taxed more than your income. This is my understanding. So we do not regret moving to Italy. It is hard to make the adjustment, but my son is safer here and we are happier and the food never gets old. Anyway, the quality of the food, absolutely. I don't find any other places that I can compare with the quality of the food that I can find here. So from this point of view, I'm extremely happy. And also for the safety of the children, I guarantee you, I mean, I cannot guarantee you, but I believe now I don't have children, but if I had children, this where I moved is the best place where I can grow a child. It's totally safe, extremely safe, or much safer than any place I traveled around Europe. So, okay, small communities are always safer. It doesn't matter where. But here, for example, if you put on top the other things that you like, obviously that is an extra. The message is pretty consistent. It can be wonderful, but it is not easy, and it really depends why you want to come here and your individual circumstances. Yes, true. It's always based on a personal decision. Best decision I have made in my life is so much better here in all aspects, and food is to die for, which I actually agree. I mean, uh, on top of all the things that I like. Anyway, if a moving, if moving to one place, if a relocation is successful and you don't get frustrated about the things that are not going well, then you can say your experience is successful because you found what you were looking for. Again, always think once, twice, three times about what you are looking for. After 16 years in the UK, we moved to Italy and the luxury to choose a place that had everything we ever wanted. It's now been almost 5 years that we live in Italy and we love it. Okay, so I'm glad to see, anyway, positive experiences, positive feedback. 10 years in Italy, I wouldn't go back to Germany for another decade or maybe never. It was a tough learning process, very tough. Learning the language is important, but there is so much more for understanding a different culture. Anyway, language is something very important. But once you move here, now let's talk, because I'm in Italy, I'm talking about Italy. If you're moving to Italy, again, and you don't speak Italian, it's not a big drama. Once you're here, then you will start naturally learning the language. Okay, you might become fluent maybe in 5 years' time, but it takes time. You came here without a language. Even me, if I decide to move to a country where I don't speak the language, okay, I speak English, but then it's working. If you're a native English speaker, it's gonna work in Italy also because, okay, Italian people don't speak, are well known to not speak very well English, but they all have some basics. So you can always find people who are able to communicate with you, and then in the worst scenario, Google Translate. I mean, it's so easy nowadays. But obviously, to have conversation, to communicate with people, it takes time, it takes years. Now, we couldn't be happier with our choice to move to Sicily. Are there challenges? Of course, but there are plenty of challenges in the US too. I totally agree. The challenges are everywhere. I mean, challenges, and again, it's a working process. We are working with step by step before relocating. Obviously, if you're watching my video and your plan is not to relocate, you can just watch my video where I'm reporting some stories and I'm talking about my experience. But if you're planning to relocate, I'm sure I'm gonna be helpful because I want to bring to the attention the good and the bad things. Simply, and then if the good things are more than the bad, go for it. What you put, all the cards that you put on the table. If they're working for you, the good are more than the bad, perfect, go for it. But if the cards on the table brings you to the attention that the bad are more than the good, leave it. I mean, it's an honest process also to say to myself, things are not working, things cannot work in that way. So, or I will start working and then it will take more time, fine. Or then I might just say, okay, I give up and I go on holiday if I love one place. Actually, to come on in Italy just for the holidays, it might be even a better option. Then, if you can stay up to 3 months, stay 3 months. Anyway, it depends how long you can stay. But anyway, there are so many options. The more I'm investigating, the more options I see, I'd say that there is always an option for everyone. How funny, me and my partner were literally just now talking about so talking what was our house deposit money in the UK and buying a house outright here in Italy, living mortgage free, having the sun almost daily, eating amazing food, paying next to no tax regime impatriati, having the ability to get to France, Switzerland, Germany, all in a driving distance, is definitely better than the life the life to work, life we left, and how lucky we feel every single day. The truth is, whatever you make it in your head, it will likely become. Visualization. Here is about to visualize, to try to visualize yourself. Oh, that's what I'm gonna do daily. That's what I'm gonna. So if you start with this process, things might work in your favor. All right, so I'm not gonna read more comments because anyway, the video is long enough already. There are so many comments under this post. It's a pity I cannot read them all, but anyway, I share with you different experiences. Some are good, some are bad. It's always about the way we process things. Alright, my friends, so I hope you have enjoyed this video and I'll see you here on Italy, A Place to Love YouTube channel very soon. Bye!